Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charnley. This is another Worcestershire church. This is the beautiful and fairly large church of St. Peter, Inkberrow. It's a lovely name. The church is largely 14th century. There are Norman elements here, and there's been some alterations in the 15th century. And of course it's been restored by the Victorians, not too badly, but there we go. It's not the most inspired restoration in the world, although one is rather spoiled round here in terms of restorations when one runs into the best of Frederick Preedy. But this is Inkberrow. Been a church here for 9,000 years, and it's one of these larger village churches. There is an aisle, there is a transept, and they're on different sides. So we'll have a look and see, and actually there's two transepts, I'm not being quite fair. We'll have a look around and see the various features of this beautiful medieval church. And so as usual we start at the west end, in this case under the organ gallery. You may be able to hear a certain echo because of it. But here we are at the west end. And the first thing we notice is a Norman font, nice square bowl of the Norman font. Quite often, if the church couldn't afford to get a brand new font in the 14th century, they just chop the corners off the square font and get an octagonal font that way. But thankfully they haven't done that here. This is the other famous type of Norman font. The first is the tub font, this is the square font. And the difference between the two are pretty self-explanatory. Nice local stone walls and columns with this aisle here. This is added, and then there's a lady chapel at the east end of that, and there's a transept here. So we'll go along here. No stained glass in the windows, although it is tinted. It's not stained. There's some stained glass in the chapel. Now this is a funny thing. Let's have a look at this. This is, you see here, this is a floor vent, and this here is on wheels, and you can wheel it over the floor vent so it blows the air in whatever direction you want. We have here pulpit, that's Victorian, and here we have William Heath, the Reverend William Heath, who died in 1830, aged 64, having been 38 years vicar of this parish. The Millennium Window, I believe. No, it's actually memorial to to Ron Gore, the Tithe Barn, who died in 2008. But it has various panels, various indications of local heritage. You can see blacksmith, you've got King Charles I, you've got William Shakespeare, of course we're not that far from Stratford-on-Avon, and so on and so forth. Here is the great memorial here. This is John Savage of Yoke, and he had his 3 wives, 6 sons and 4 daughters. Commissioner of the Peace and High Sheriff of the county, and he died in 1631. And there he is. He's a bit battered. You get all the usual. Oh, he was the parliamentarian. Probably just generations of children leaning on it, and little fontlet there. But obviously, he's a bit later. You've got these figures at the top looking upwards. We don't have the usual mourners. They've all been rather mutilated, sadly. But that is that. And there is the aisle, which has been, you can see it's been screened off, and it's now got raked seating for performances and concerts and things. Because if you don't need it for seating for services, well, it's best to have the people all sitting together in the nave. So we'll turn around, and there's the transept and Savage tomb, which unfortunately has some savagery visited upon it. And there we are looking west. You can see that little organ, well, not so little organ, up in the gallery in the tower. And bells can be rung from the tower as well. And then vestry at the back there. So quite impressive. Chancel has, of course, been restored in the 19th century. No doubt it needed it. St. Francis of Assisi and St. Anne. And at the bottom we have that famous St. Anne. As much as possible, you must have St. Anne teaching the Virgin Mary to read. It's absolutely essential. Relatively shallow chancel, really nice. I mean, look at that, Sedilia and Piscina. At least, at the very least, recut by the Victorians, but in 14th century style. St. Peter and St. Paul, no stained glass east window. I wonder why not. Probably just because nobody gave it. And there we have the harvest below from the altar frontal. And then we have the church banner. The banner. They used to go in processions. It doesn't happen so much anymore. In the chapel, this is now the War Memorial Chapel, memorial to the men of the parish who died in the wars, and also those who served, because those who served matter as well. You've got the altar table there with a cover, and then these riddle posts, relatively modern riddle posts, and a little bit of medieval glass in the top there. So there would have been quite a lot here once upon a time. And here is the side chapel. You've got the organ, not the organ, the piano even, and you see there the seating, which can be moved when necessary. It's set up, as I say, for concerts and things. More medieval glass in the west window here in the aisle. So that is the inside here at Inkberrow in Worcestershire. Very nice, hymns A&M, typical Anglican hymn book, as they say. So that is the inside, very nice, with the afternoon sun streaming through the windows. So here we are outside at Inkberrow. You can see this typically spiky 15th century addition, really, behind me. The main entrance is on the north side, and the north side is the most interesting side. That's why we're starting here, even though it's in the gloom. So we'll have a look around and, again, point out the salient features of the outside. First of all, it's important to note that things like this, these are status features as much as anything else. So the porch is not simply there as this is the way in. The porch is there as a bit more than that as well. So that's that. There's a slight tripod malfunction, but it's all right now. So the porch is not simply a space, it is a space, and of course it's important, I've said before, that the early part of the wedding service in the Middle Ages took place in the porch, and that's why you have big porches. But it's not just about having a space for it, it's having something that's impressive when you come in. Now as you look behind, you can see that's the old, I suspect that's the old rectory back there, because they were quite high status people, and there's the War Memorial Lich Gate. A lot of Lich Gates are War Memorials. The porch has these gargoyles on the corners. Some are more eroded than others, but a gargoyle, well, maybe that one's definitely, these days that one is just a grotesque. Nice sort of OG curve there to the doorway, and there's the interior with the benches. Now the gargoyles along there. That's definitely just a grotesque there. You've got his tub, another grotesque, more grotesques. Yes, they appear rather, in fact, to have just these ordinary spouts rather than gargoyles. The thing about gargoyles, they do get eroded because, of course, they're spewing water when it rains. So this one on the corner is an old gargoyle, but obviously it's no longer spews water because he's been adapted. That, I think, is what happened here with some of them, is they've just had their mouths filled in. Nice location, you get this nice view down over the stream at the bottom there from the east of the church, and this is where the Lady Chapel joins the chancel. Nice local stone. It's good when they. And then there is a modern hall there. There we go, modern hall. Can't see it very well, and quite frankly, why would you want to? It's on the south side. And there is the transept, the one and only transept. Very often, of course, the transept is a way to have a little chapel, a little side chapel. So that is more or less the outside. There's that tower. You can see this the stair turret on the south east corner, and we've got these windows. They very much is a 14th century building with some later additions. So that is the outside here at Inkberrow. So that is St Peter's Inkberrow, most impressive village church, one of the larger village churches in this part of Worcestershire, because the villages are not very big, and obviously even in the Middle Ages, well, it wasn't always that you had someone with lots of money who wanted a big posh church and never mind the size. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed going out on this beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you and keep you until next time.